So, okay, so now that I'm looking at my little questions that I wrote and I'm
Okay.
supposed to be
All
asking,
right.
or at least supposedly, wow, good English, yeah. Um, so you were talking about you thought that we had enough IT. Is it IT knowledge or is it actual IT support? Because I mean, God bless Mike and Luke, but I'm a little concerned that if we actually started doing an online class, that they might be a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, they're definitely pretty stretched at this point.
Yeah, were they thinking about
Now,
getting somebody on at least
well,
part
I
time?
I think at some point they will have to because, with the CTEC money, I don't want to say it brings problems, but it brings issues, of
Just as,
capacity.
oh yeah, absolutely. Well, just as you know, doing construction is very exciting. You get this new stuff and it's great and
Right.
it's awesome. And construction is the cause of 50% of divorces of people who are going through construction. So
Right.
construction
That's
is a
right.
crazy, intensive, wicked time.
Right. I'm
So
sure. I'm
it's
sure.
great, but it's also can be very stressful. And I think that these funds
Yeah.
coming in are the same. Um,
Right.
I mean,
And
just
I'm
doing the
always
budget alone was wow, very intense. Very
yeah.
intense.
And I'm always, staffing, of course, comes out of under my umbrella. So I'm always trying to look and see and make sure that the labor is spread out
Hmm.
appropriately. And definitely they are right, probably at capacity.
Yeah.
But they do have, I'm sure that they have the knowledge. They're very young and they have that energy to go exploring and, whatever
Hmm.
they don't know. But they're both very bright
Yeah.
and capable. But it definitely would be an issue of capacity.
Well,
Um,
I was delighted to hear that you knew actually about Blackboard because before I started at CSU East Bay, I didn't have a clue that that even existed.
oh, well, I don't know if I mentioned to you, I have taught online as well as being
No.
an online. Well, my background is in instructional.
Okay, yeah.
You didn't know that. So I've taught like everything. I've taught finance. I've taught educational leadership. Everything you can think of. And even when I was at ROP as a teacher,
Hmm.
I developed my own little online type environment for my students. So,
That's awesome.
it's doable, but
Hmm.
that's the other part. I don't think that every teacher or even the majority of the teachers are ready for that.
Well, heck, I
They're a
certainly
little,
wasn't. before
what was
this
that?
before this program, there's no way I could have done
Right,
it.
right. And there's, I've gone through, a number of training programs. I just like technology. And so,
Hmm.
like I said, 7, 8 years ago, I was dabbling in online type things, not Blackboard,
Hmm.
because I think that's I think it may be overrated. I think you can get some freeware and, stuff
Yeah.
like that
Uh, I
that
would
could do the trick.
I would rather go through Google Sites, to be honest.
Hmm. Hmm.
But unfortunately, one of the things the reason that I've developed the class that I've been making on
Hmm.
Blackboard is because you can't convert from Google Sites into Blackboard
Mm.
because
Okay.
Google Sites is JavaScript
Oh, okay.
and Blackboard is HTML. And
Okay.
you can turn
They
an
don't talk.
HTML into JavaScript, but it doesn't go the other way.
Right.
You go,
Oh,
wait, how is it? Usually, if you can translate one way, you can do it the other way too.
okay. Right.
Nope,
Yep.
not this one.
But so,
Okay.
if I had to guess, I would say there's only maybe 4 or 5 teachers who would
Hmm.
be interested. I think Hector, because
Oh,
of
sure.
his technology, he would be interested.
Hmm.
Karn would probably be interested as well. Um, it's just not what it's not what they do at the ROP because
Right.
years ago you really couldn't really come up with that model for ROP
Hmm.
because uh, we were funded by ADA, and so how
Oh.
are you going to track? I mean, you could track it electronically, but what's to stop the kid from just turning the computer on and logging on and, logging time? So there was always that discussion.
Right.
Now that there's it's not, funding is not ADA driven, that makes that part of it a little bit easier.
That's nice. Excuse me.
I hope I'm not telling you.
No, this is fantastic. This is this is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Shoot,
I
there
know
was
too
something
much.
No, it's good. Knowing lots is good.
No, I just, I enjoy knowing what I know about instructional and applying it to the financial side. I think it gives people a different insight, instead of just chop away. Let's think about things a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have an excellent point of, yeah, absolutely. I totally and completely agree. Shoot, there was something you said.
Sorry.
And it was a really good thing, and I was gonna ask. Oh, so now that we are not ADA required to do stuff, do you think that doing online teaching would be a way for us to expand the kinds of students and/or the amount of students that we serve? So, for example, the kids at my school, I've lost in the last few weeks about 6 different students that got assigned to independent study because they, quote, didn't need my units, they needed other units. And so, yeah, my classes have shrunk over the last few weeks, and it's felt very, very strange to suddenly be like, this kid's not on my roll anymore. Why?
Right. Just drop off the map.
Yeah, and I mean, it is done purposefully by the counselor, although she hasn't been communicating super great with me. So I sent her a little message. You gotta let me know because I gotta let Prudy know.
Right.
But would that be a way for us to hit more of those the students that are in independent study or in more alternative learning needs?
I think that, and actually, I was going to suggest the independent study model that has the, it would be kind of a hybrid, having the kids work independently but come to a control class once a week to make sure that they're actually doing the work. But that's a dilemma for even adult students too.
True.
Are they really doing the work? We don't know. We don't have any way of knowing, right?
Oh gosh, especially some of the stories that kids tell me. One of my students said that there's some sort of app online that if you put in the subject and a few things about your topic and you pay a certain chunk of money, that it'll pull things from online. So it makes it look like you wrote a paper, and they'll guarantee it will have less than 18% stuff that make it looks like you've plagiarized. I was like, that just seems so messed up and wrong. Why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you even know to do that instead of just doing the work?
Yeah, I taught in an MBA program, and I had those students who did some fishy little things like that, and but I don't know how it's done, but my whole book, the answer key, was online, so unless you, but that was kind of interesting because I'm an educational purist. I feel like if you're not learning and working for, what's the point? Just get grades.
Why bother? Yeah,
but people don't have those same values. I learned that.
Yes. Yeah, that was a couple of those shocking kind of whoa times. Okay, one last question. When you went to CSU East Bay, did they require you to do a sexual assault awareness, sexual harassment awareness class?
No.
Or like an online kind of thing?
No.
Okay.
No, I graduated in 2009, so that's been a few years.
So it's a little bit more recent. I think it's pretty recent. I think it's only been within the last couple of few years.
So would they accept your Keenan, or does it have to be their?
No.
Okay,
No.
it
It
has to be
was
their.
no. They were totally. It was like it's like this.
Okay,
I will
there's.
say this, and although it's a little bit college focused, there was some really. It was done really well, and I know that we're supposed to be doing, sexual harassment and hostile work environment kind of videos for our students.
Right.
This one would be so much better than the one that we presently have downloadable. Or
Okay. Is there a way
I
for me to take a look at it, or I mean,
I am
check
to
out
be
the
honest, I'm not
cost,
sure. And the way that
Okay.
it's set up right now is like you go through online and you answer questions at the end of each section. So I don't know if they
Okay.
have kind of a purist thing with all the information all together.
Okay.
But it's called Not Anymore. I'm looking at my husband. Is that the?
Okay.
I think it's called Not Anymore.
Okay.
I will see if I can track that down. Check with what?
Okay.
Oh yeah, good call. Not director. What the heck is she? She's the coordinator of the online teaching and learning, Ailey. She might have a good idea of if there's a way to get access to that.
Okay. That name sounds familiar.
That name sounds familiar?
It does.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
I
interesting.
did the online teaching and learning certificate
Right.
when I was part of my grad program, so it's probably some of the same people
Oh,
still
I'm
there.
sure.
Yeah.
I would not be at all surprised. So,
Okay.
all right, cool. Well, I will check with Ailey
right.
on that. Again, thank you
Okay.
so much for your time. Have
You're
a
welcome.
safe flight and enjoy the heck out of your vacation.
I will.
All right,
All
take care.
right.
Thanks
Take
so
care.
much.
Good luck with school.
Thank you very much.
Both schools. Bye-bye.
Yes, all that. Okay, bye bye.
Bye.